Welcome to Living Chassidus. Together, let's live the Chassidus we learn.
Morning, everybody, and welcome to Chassidus in the morning. 15 minutes to change our lives. This share is sponsored by Anonymous for Refuah Shleima for Ze'eva, Yosefa, Bas, Malka, Riva. That we should hear good news very, very soon in Mitzvah Hashem. Okay. Microphone. Okay. Continue on with the mimer. We're getting near towards the end. So basically, what we've been talking about before is that we have to realize that the way we judge, just like for ourselves, we're very forgiving, and we cover over those issues, and therefore that forgiving and covering over the issues causes that when we do that to someone else, we can also be forgiven for them because of that self-love. And therefore it causes also when we do that, when we are connected with one another, that causes us to have that connection with Hashem. And just that we're forgiving for ourselves, Hashem becomes forgiving, so to speak, for himself, because we're connected with him now. So that it's not that he doesn't see the faults, is that he doesn't get affected by it. It doesn't negatively impact. It doesn't mean, of course, it doesn't mean that you just have Ahavas Yisrael and then you can do any of it you want. Of course, I think that's self-understood and that's pretty obvious. But what it means is that there's a difference between things that we consciously, willingly know that is wrong and we do, versus things that we just, it's sort of ingrained within us. We're not sensitive enough to ourselves. We haven't refined ourselves enough that to really have these things come to an effect and help on and help. So those types of things are what we're talking about. That automatically that will be a lot more forgiving. Yeah. So yeah, we'll start in the near the top of page 35 in this sefer. She'ein nimshach min haydiya shloi she'yidea isam v'daita yisbarach she'ein lo gvul tachlis. And like we're saying, it's not that Hashem doesn't know the faults. He sees what's the problem, but it doesn't bring it down into emotion, so to speak, like we said about ourselves. The days by the meters like Ki Ahava tchasek k'mish kasuv v'yasech Eloika ba'adei. Like it says, that for whom Hashem erects a barrier. Elokai hu kel avayim. So Elokai is, it's made up of kel and vav hey. Shehu chesed elyon, which is referring to the level of chesed elyon being drawn down into vav hey, which is zer, anpin, and malchus. So we're taking this high level of godliness and bringing it down into these lower levels. And this compassion comes down into us, into what we're doing. Amakiv which is like the level of Makiv, like it says in Eitz Chaim, it encompasses all the Jewish people and encompasses all the flaws of the Jewish people. Shehu levush haneshama, v'chaisama ayin shama. This is like the garment of neshama, and it's like a tzil. Look over there for more details on that. So that's all in the positive. Now in the negative, don't worry, how negative goes very short, but it just explains the other side of the coin. So what happens if we have a separation amongst the Jewish people and we don't look at someone else the way we're meant to? We have all these negative perceptions. So it's like it says in the pasuk, whatever has a blemish shouldn't be brought up. Meaning we can't come up to Hashem, we can't get connected and close to Hashem. And we cause above this idea of separation between us and Hashem. Then when that happens, we're frat love and still on the person. Meaning, before we're saying because of the love that we have, so that covers over all the issues. And Hashem doesn't see them, doesn't bring them down into judgment. But now, when you have sinas chinam, you're not getting along so well, it's that cause Hashem to see everything, and not just he sees everything, he brings it down. It gets down to the point of having to take retribution for what you've done wrong. And this is a cause and separation. So it's not just Ahavas Yisrael. It's not just I have Ahavas Yisrael, I don't. I like you, I don't like you. Whatever. We're showing this cosmic effect that happens. And like we say that Hashem should bless us all like one. Because when we have one, when we have Achdus, when we have the Ahavas Yisrael, Vaz, Kula, Yafa, Rayasi, Umumein Ba. Then we have, like it says in the Pasuk, Shirim, Kulach, Yafa, you're totally beautiful. Rayasi, my beloved. Umum, and a blemish, Ein Ba, you don't have any. And it causes the ultimate unity between us and Hashem. The Gil Ein Seif, the Malka and the Neshama Yisrael, and the revelation of the infinite light in the source of the Neshama Yisrael, and have to bring about the unity of one with one, us and Hashem. And this is the deeper meaning of the pasuk. Pure, you should be with Hashem. Meaning, it doesn't mean that you should just be pure, but it means in a deeper sense that you should look at everyone and have that Ahavas Yisrael, look at everyone positively, and have that Ahavas Yisrael, and that causes for you to be tamim. Yeah. Like it says, just like Hashem is where the Jewish people in this level of tam, pure, complete. The ray of the Chachma Ilah, the Chlalus Evarim, the Shchinte, which is all the levels of the Shechina, which is like the limbs of the Shechina. And like we said, you should love your friend as yourself. Just like by yourself, we don't see our own issues. So too, when you have Ahavas Yisrael, Hashem doesn't see the issues. Shechina says we doesn't see the issues. So too, we should be this way. We should have this Ahavas Yisrael. In order that when we have the Ahavas Yisrael, we also cause that Hashem should be lekecha, or Havaya should be lekecha. Meaning the level of Hashem, which is Avaya, which is above Seidish, above nature, should be brought down into nature. We should have that apparent realization that the nature that we look at, that we see, is all godly. And how does that help? How are we able to do this? This is connected with this idea, with having this Ahavas Yisrael. That causes this union between us and Hashem, which causes us to have this ability to see Hashem in such clear ways. Mesiras nefesh be'echad, which give ourselves over to this level of oneness, as we're going to explain. And this is now we're going to explain what does it mean when Hillel says the question is, he says Ahavas Yisrael is everything, so we've explained why is Ahavas Yisrael so important. That brings us oneness. But then what does he say? Everything else is just a pirish. The whole time just Ahavas Yisrael, everything else is pirish. What does that mean? Really? Now we're going to explain why. So outside we'll explain that essentially what he's saying is because the whole purpose of Torah mitzvahs is to connect with Hashem, to become one with Hashem. And what we're showing here is through Ahavas Yisrael, that's how you become one with Hashem. Like we said before, that when you cover over, when you don't have an animosity for someone, you don't look at their little issues, and that self-love covers over. Like we said, whatever you don't like, don't do to your friend. And when we internalize this message and we think about it this way, we look at people and we're always looking for the good, and we're not, and just like ourselves, we'll try and look for the good. We look for them for the good, and that causes that unity. So that unity is the whole purpose of Torah. And that's why he's saying Ahavas Yisrael is called Torah. Idach Fisher and the rest is just explanation, because nothing brings about this unity as clearly as Ahavas Yisrael. And that's what he's going to explain. Let's see. Sharei. All the mitzvahs, and in other communities they say this a lot. To connect Hashem with us. That's the whole purpose of the Torah mitzvahs. Now, the ultimate unity between us and Hashem, Hanika, Meshufed Yaakov, us, which are called the beauty of Yaakov, who talui. It's through the revelation of the love that we look at someone else like ourselves, literally. Like it says, Chelik Hashem, Amoy Knizlo. Hashem, he's the part of Hashem is his people. We become one. And when we reflect Hashem through this Ahavas Yisrael, so we have this one. We have this oneness that we achieve. This oneness specifically happens through Ahavas Yisrael, as we've explained. Whereas all the other mitzvahs, all the other mitzvahs are like an explanation to try to explain this idea. But Ahavas Yisrael is the expression of it. It's so funny because people look at Ahavas Yisrael as like, whatever, not like such an important mitzvah. It should be, should be. Chassidus pushes it a little bit more, but like, whatever. It's a nice thing to do. But he was showing this is the Zokal Terakula. Now, Hill, when saying that to the Ger, he wasn't saying it as like a jerk. He was telling him the truth. All the other mitzvahs, it shows in which specific way is going to be the unity. Whether my unity with Hashem is going to be through learning Torah, which is my intellect with Hashem's intellect, so to speak, Hashem's intellect, or whether my love to Hashem will connect with Hashem's love, and the rest of the emotions, that emotion, my emotion, and will be connected with Hashem's emotion, any other mitzvah. Like for example, the person connects with his friend. The reason why they're connected is because of the true love. By yichud and the unity of that, and the unity that comes out of that. Sometimes the unity expresses itself in speech. When you're speaking an idea and you connect that way, have a good conversation. Sometimes emotions, you're emotionally attached. When you reveal the love for him. But that's all specific levels that it's revealing this connection we have, this essential connection. Sometimes we do good things for them. So you have the 248 limbs, the positive mitzvahs, which are the Malka, 248 limbs of the king. So every mitzvah is like one limb of the king that we're connecting with. That when I do this mitzvah, I'm connecting my limb with Hashem's limb. And I'm making that unity on that little part. This part with that part. My leg with Hashem's leg, so to speak. My seichel with Hashem's seichel. My emotion with Hashem's emotions. Of a mitzvah zu, ikar hayichud be'evizeh, and that mitzvah is that specific limb. Bashar, and the rest, kalulim bay. And the rest of them is sort of included within it in like a small way. So to have the mitzvah, that the mitzvah does that one specific unity. It has a general effect, but it's more specific to that specific level. Mitzvah is like putting on a talis. Same to Alecha Melech, which is like having Hashem, the king over us. You put on the talis, connecting with that level of Hashem, which is he's like his king. Makif, like a surrounding, a makif tikkun level. Shiyeh koyach lahamakabel limbs v'nafshem echad. That will give us the ability to give ourselves over to Hashem, this deep, high level, which gives us the level to have a serious nefesh. But like it says, if we don't have any year, I don't have any fear of Hashem, we don't have any wisdom. I'm thinking we should stop here. But that is going to go. Basically, what we're saying, like we said, basically what he was showing us is that every other mitzvah has a specific effect. One limb for that effect. Like giving tzedakah has its effect with the level of kindness of a Deivishto. Or like we said, learning Torah has its effect of connecting to Hashem's chachma. Whereas what we're saying is when we have Ahavas Yisrael, with Teifus, we take everything. It's all, the whole of Hashem. So I hope we should appreciate, we should be gaining an appreciation for the mitzvah of Yisrael, but in a deep way, not in a superficial. Yeah, I'll be nice to the person because there's a mitzvah of Yisrael, but realizing that we're really connected, really one, like we said in the first days, and like Riva would say, vidui for other people's mistakes. You could say nothing to do with me, but he really felt it and really connected, and we should have that feeling. If you think about it also, like what the Rebbe was very much about. What the Rebbe was doing, especially with like shlichus and stuff, was this. It feels very much connected with this idea that we're connected, that the Jewish people are connected. Some people, it's like I'm in my community, and just leave me alone and don't annoy me. Whereas the Rebbe was like, no, we're connected. We're one and the same. If I want to have this, obviously, if I want to have proper, obviously, I want to have connection with Hashem properly. I need to do this. We need to connect with these people. We need to bring them closer because we're part of the same family. So L'chaim, we should feel this way, and it should bring us to a better and closer connection to Hashem. Have a great day. Thank you for joining.